The Gina and Matty podcast.
Diesel, and he joins us on the line right now. Do I call you Mark or do I call you Diesel? What would you like this morning?
I think at this time of the morning, Mark's good.
Mark, you haven't quite warmed up into being Diesel yet.
I never do.
It's very early for a rock star.
I'm still trying to get used to taking a name that I gave the band named after the bass player after, how many years is it? 35 or something?
Oh, really?
It was never supposed to be for me. No. The bass player's name was John Dalzell, and we were a nameless band, all left over from another band. We'd all fallen out of another band. And a friend of ours made a joke about his name because his wife had just fallen pregnant again. Oh, little Johnny Diesel and his little injectors, being his injectors being his burgeoning kids that he was producing. And I thought, oh, that's funny. And someone called that morning, like actually the morning that we found out about him being a father again, to say, like, you guys are pulling two people in a cockroach. Like, how about you have a name and put it in the paper? And I thought, oh, that's a funny name. We'll put it in the paper just to humor him. It was all about him that week and his wife, of course, Jan, at the time. And that's how it stuck. And the next week rolled around and no one bothered to take it out of the paper, Johnny Diesel and the Injectors.
That's
it was
amazing.
a name named after him. So when I left the band after one massive album, it seemed like an obvious thing to do, just keep the Diesel as a brand, as they say, in branding world. Yeah, and that's how I've stuck with it. And then now I get yelled at across an airport, Johnny! And I'm not Johnny. I'm not. I never was.
Bloody Johnny.
So anyway.
Well, now you've just
such a
answered
cool name.
like a trivia question that could be asked somewhere here on the coast tonight at a pub. Someone is going to absolutely nail where the name Diesel
I
came
love it
from.
when I explain all this, though, to people, and they go, yeah, and then they go, and John? That's even worse than Johnny, because it's like John is so, like, personal and like a proper name. And it's also, I mean, bless them, but it's like at some point we were laughing because I was doing, I think, probably around the early mid-90s or something, and gigs would sort of go, because John Farnham actually did this. He went from Johnny to John.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, in the media, I guess, in their eyes, were like, well, he's growing up now. You can't call him Johnny anymore. He's John.
So it's
and
you.
they started doing that with me as well. It's like, no, I'm not. That's not me.
You just have to answer to everything.
We had to laugh about it. It's pretty funny. I'll answer to almost anything.
Well, another interesting piece of truth about you is that you are actually Jimmy Bunn's brother-in-law. That's
the truth? Yeah.
So what I want to
we're
know
brothers.
is
Brothers
Christmas
in
Day.
war.
Is Christmas Day fun for you at your house? Do you do Christmas together, and is it just incredible?
It's a big thing. I come from a massive family myself, which we're also spread out. So. If we combine them, it would probably be like 200 plus people at least, I'd say. It's that big.
There's your audience.
It's fun, and everyone loves the whole thing about it's especially when it's 38 degrees and we got 5 ovens going and everything. Yeah, totally practical.
Back on the road, though. Well,
great.
not that you've ever stopped, though, Mark, because even throughout COVID, you put out an album, but you're back on the road doing the bootleg melancholy album tour. Easy for some to say. You're doing Newcastle in April, up here at Wyong at the Art House on the 26th. What is it that keeps you getting up on stage? What is it? Is there a bit of is it still in the blood? You just love performing?
Yeah, I love finding venues like the Art House in Wyong, for instance. Everyone says, "Oh, you're going to love that place. It's so great." I'm still looking for great places to play, and this tour has been a really great discovery tour so far, and I've got a lot more places to find out about, like the RMIT Capitol Theatre in Melbourne, which I haven't done.
Oh wow!
I'm really loving the theatres. I have to say that just for the simple fact that I feel like I've played every Greyhound bus station and bowling alley in the world. So, I mean, I can literally say I've played a bowling alley. We played a bowling alley in Lubbock, Texas, and
Sick.
it's like, okay, this is the venue today. A bowling alley, with the sound of the pins going, it's like crazy. So, not every venue is designed for sound to be, produced beautifully. And I feel like these venues on this leg that we're doing it just all about how good it can sound. So that for me is exciting because that's what I do. I'm up there trying to recreate things on records or just find new sounds for that matter. All practical purposes. My job is to make it sound really great for people. And so when you walk in, it's concrete and glass and a couple of TVs going with like the horse racing. It's not always easy,
Yeah.
But I will turn anything into a gig, and I have. Like it's the Pumpkin and Stagecoach, and then 12 o'clock comes around sort of theory. So many times I've walked into venues and gone, how's this going to work? And then, the scrims go up, people come in, the lights go down, and it's a gig.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy when any venue say, hey, we want to have live music in our venue. I'm not going to begrudge that, but I do love these theatres because they're designed, for people to perform on stage. So.
Our guest this morning is Diesel Mark Lizotte, who is coming up to the coast in April, performing at the Art House Wyong this morning.
Mark, also I'm excited because country music is really big at the moment, and I happen to have a little in that you're doing a duet with one of Australia's biggest country music stars, Melinda Schneider.
Yeah, Melinda and I have been sort of, just sort of hanging with each other for years doing this.
She's amazing. Well, did you know?
She's such a great singer. I just love hearing her sing because her phrasing and her tone and everything, it's
she's incredible.
Like, what's gonna come out?
Well, quick note with my connection with that is Rod McCormack, who's producing that, is my husband. So that's how come I've already heard this song, and lots of people might not have heard it. Hey, the Coast is super excited.
It's a great cause too, I have to say.
Yeah, she's an amazing woman. The Coast is super excited that you're coming up. The Art House Wyong is a beautiful, beautiful venue. Now, people are going to win a guitar. Can you really quickly tell us about? You get a guitar and a lesson with you?
We did this thing, and after the horrible fires happened in 2019, and we sort of slid into the pandemic, as you remember, and there were a lot of volunteer fireys that were, and proper fireys that were suffering from PTSD, but a lot of people, put up their hand to go and fight the fires and just were like pretty devastated afterwards and mentally. So we did this thing with APRA, got involved, and we gave out a bunch of guitars. Yamaha came on board that time, and it was a really good thing. And then there was a lot of out-of-work guitar players and just musicians in general at that time. So we did all these online lessons, and the little idea has been sort of planted in my head since then that, it's a really nice gesture to get guitars in people's hands that, I'm guessing that a lot of people that win these guitars have, think that they can't play. Yeah. And that's the idea. Even better, it's like, I'll be happy if it goes to someone that already plays, of course, but I think, music is a great therapy. I think, and I love the idea of, surprising someone with, it's like, actually you can play a big E chord or a big A chord and just go, I'm a rock star. So I could be surprised. The person I end up doing the lesson with could just shred all over me and just make me feel like I can't play, which would be great. I look forward to it.
Well, you can catch Diesel doing his thing at the Art House in Wyong on Saturday, the 26th of April. Before then, if you want to go up the M1, check him out in Newcastle on Friday the 11th. All the dates are on dieselmusic.com.au. Thanks for your time this morning.
The Gina and Matty Podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.